Yes, yes, here we are. Woo!
Here.
Brooklyn and Silicon Beach.
Yes, sir.
That's right. Lou Cologne, FILA.
Yes, excited
How are
to be
you?
here. I'm great. Honored to be here. Thank you.
But thank you, man. Thank you for being here. I'm so excited for you to be here. I know you just came off some major heat
Good things
at
happening.
Barney's, and I mean, I got to catch up with you at lunch beforehand, so it was kind of
Right.
cool. So we got to like really digest a little bit. But I know that I'm just proud of you, bro. Like
Appreciate
you're working
that.
on
Thank
so
you.
much,
Thank you.
and
Thank
like what you've been able to do with FILA Heritage, and what feels to me like the short amount of time is pretty incredible.
Right.
You know, how long have you been there?
So I've been at FILA for a little over 7 years.
7 years.
So it's been a
Wow, 7 years.
if time flies when you're
Damn.
when you're doing good things, right?
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
So basically started the heritage category about 6 years ago.
Okay.
So after my first year, I came in as a developer.
So the heritage division didn't exist?
Didn't exist.
Oh, wow.
We had a reoccurring business where we sold velours, original tennis, and key styles, but there wasn't a specific category. There was no social media. There was no platform. There was no marketing around this.
Wow.
There was no targeted accounts. There wasn't a product plan. It was, let's refill velours seasonally for X retailer, Y retailer that buys it every season. And
Got
it was really
kind of product that people remember that was just easy layups, no brainer, and just redo them.
You know the customer.
Yeah.
He's over 40, remembers FILA, loves it.
Yeah.
Every season, every winter, he needs a new velour suit.
Got it.
Which was,
I don't know why I think like a Sopranos kind of guy.
yes, it was
That's what-
older, very New York, very
Yeah.
northeast.
Yeah.
You go to Mid-Atlantic and you DC, Baltimore area, you had your OG head, right?
Got it.
But the position for heritage as a category was really to target the 16 to 25-year-old.
Wow.
Really transform the brand from not just being a retro, which is what's in right now,
Yeah.
but for being a true fashion brand. So the
Got it.
brand has always been a sports brand with fashion infused, right?
Okay.
So you think about Bjorn Borg, guy with a shell necklace, pinstripes. He was the first to bring color to the tennis court.
Okay.
Grand Slam, 14-time Grand Slam winner.
What year was that?
This was mid-70s.
Got it. Okay.
This, I believe, 73, and he had a crazy reign, and he was just on the cover of GQ.
Wow.
Like he's still an iconic fashion guy.
Yeah.
Kind
Kind of how Agassi was, like
sure.
an icon.
Iconic for
Got it.
sure. Well, what our tagline now is iconic forever, right? Like
Sick.
we really want to touch on those threads and that DNA in the brand, but don't want to live only on that DNA. So taking that DNA and repurposing it for, again, a new target customer, so that kid could discover the brand and say, wow, this really has history, 100-plus-year-old brand from Italy, has ties to
100 year.
yeah.
Wow.
FILA started in 1911 as a textile business in the mountains of Italy.
Damn, that's crazy. Where in Italy?
Biella.
Yeah, where is that?
So north of Italy.
Kind of like Torino.
Exactly, in the Torino area.
Okay,
Yep,
got it. Yeah.
Yep. You pass Torino towards there.
It's amazing.
And the museum, and shame on me, like first time I've been to the museum was maybe.
You just came from there, right?
I just came from there.
Yeah.
Now we have our global summits there, where we have
So there's
all
a FILA museum there.
Yes.
I would love to go.
Which you have to go.
I would
We should
love-
do Kickin' with Sneaker Sleeve live
Ah, I love that.
in Biella, which would be amazing.
I would love that. I mean, that's where in the mountains of Torino during the Winter Olympics is where DC Shoes offered me the global director position.
That's amazing.
So that holds a very special place in my heart. It was completely random to be there during that time, but that's where our global sales meeting was at the time.
Right.
But me and you are friends for many years. We're just talking about trying to figure out how do we meet. So let's take it back. Let's take it back to New York. Let's take it back to the streets.
And now that you said that, reminds me of us.
Was it at Sprint too? Because I don't know if you remember, but I was the fashion editor for your magazine.
Yes, 100%.
Okay,
I remember that. And you brought some.
It was called Breaking the Rules.
It's called Breaking the Rules
By
with
Sneaker
Sneaker
Steve.
Steve.
Yeah.
But before that, I believe we met. I believe we met
That's early
because
thousands.
because of Gauzy.
Okay.
Because
What you?
I was fishing when I started Kick Exclusive.
Yeah.
So I started this sneaker magazine, which was just to go back.
What year was that?
That was 2003.
Wow. Okay.
So fresh out of college, 9/11 happens, all that. I was in finance, didn't want to be there. I was like, I have to follow what I'm passionate about and more about what I know. Like before entrepreneurialism was cool, I was like, this is me. Like always wanted to start my own thing, I have a crazy idea once a day, right? So it's always been in my DNA, but started the magazine. And I remember fishing for brands because I was like, this magazine needs to be more than sneakers and sneakerheads, right?
Yeah.
It's an ode to sneakerheads and should be featuring them. But it was literally the title from day one. It was the Sneaker Culture magazine.
I remember that.
Because I knew from then culture was important, right? Like it was, and it's still more, culture is a huge buzzword in every meeting I go to now.
Yeah.
And it took me back because a good friend of mine snapped a picture. He got Spike Lee to sign his old exclusive magazine with Spike Lee on the cover.
Yeah.
And that was another thing. I wanted to have sneakers, but also the people behind the culture featured on covers. So it was like Futura, Stash, Spike Lee. I wanted to have...
Just think about that those were your covers. Futura, Stash, Spike Lee.
Yeah.
Crazy.
We went 15 issues deep, which was, a struggle.
Which by then I thought you were absolutely brilliant for having a magazine because how old were you?
I was 25.
Yeah, so to have a magazine or to be a publisher, just that concept idea was like...
And I know.
And that's in the bubble of these huge magazines, Complex,
right.
GQ. I mean, that's when the magazine business was still big.
Was huge.
Yeah.
It was still huge.
Yeah.
And they were all evolving.
And still in the
to
print,
more.
not digital. This
Yeah,
is
they were,
print. You would go to the magazine stands
right.
and you go buy magazines.
And they were getting big advertisement dollars, those guys. The guys who survived, the big houses, they eventually went to digital.
Yeah.
By then, let's just go back real quick. So I met you, I believe, fishing for brands to feature in the magazine.
Maybe that's what it was. Had to be.
But
featuring gauzy T-shirts in Kick exclusive magazine.
Yes, I was just trying to fish for that.
Yeah.
And obviously, Sneaker Steve's name rings bells from Bedside, Brooklyn to Queens.
Yeah.
To the city, right?
BQE.
Right, 100%. So Sneaker Steve met, we started kicking it.
Kicking it with Sneaker Steve.
And I remember we would go to Camillo parties with Jug and that whole crew. So you used to dance. I remember that.
Yeah.
Steve used to dance.
I still do.
Steve used to dance.
I'm slower, but I'm still dancing.
And I'm like, I'm like, oh, this guy's impressive. He always had a fresh hat.
Had a
fresh
hat.
kicks.
Yeah.
Always. And then I remember going to visit you at the store.
Yeah.
We hung out a bunch, built a great relationship. Then that's when we started talking
about... That was the Reggaeton 101 days.
Oh, man. That was like, Daddy Yankee was on fire.
Yeah.
You remember that?
And now he's explosive.
Nah, I mean,
now he's another stratosphere.
He's amazing because he's tied with the new generations of Balvins and Bad Bunny. And
that is so
he's
cool.
still in the mix, which is pretty awesome. And so are we, right? So that's where I think we met.
Definitely, that's it. It was probably at one of the trade shows.
Yep.
And you introducing yourself as Kick exclusive.
You know what I'm thinking?
And then probably like that.
Did you ever go to it might be like, remember the big Boca parties?
Yeah, of course.
It might have been there as well.
Yeah, or was it Hector Trico?
It could have been Hector Trico, for sure.
And Rich, it was probably that, because I know you were tight with them too.
Yes, very tight with that crew.
It was probably that.
And Jerry.
Yep.
And, that whole crew.
Yeah.
Those guys teed it up for us.
Oh, totally. Yeah, it's amazing. It's and then quickly after that, which I thought you were crazy, but it worked. You started a woman's only sneaker store. So it's like consistently doing very difficult stuff.
Yeah, I don't know why I do it to myself. But
so in what year was that?
This was 2005.
So in 2005, you decide to open up a sneaker store a few blocks away from Supreme.
Literally three blocks parallel.
Yeah, 3 blocks parallel to Supreme.
Yep.
Downtown New York, and
Clientele.
it only sells women's sneakers.
Only.
And it was called Laces?
Laces.
I remember Laces.
It was Laces.
I remember the logo was like it was sexy.
It's sexy.
Yeah,
that
like
was
lace.
it.
All right.
There was.
Was that your love for girls or the love for the market opportunity?
That was me. No, that was me understanding what needs to be commercial and what niches are available.
So you were filling a void.
Yes.
Got it.
Because you just mentioned there was Supreme,
Clientele.
was Clientele,
Nort.
there was Nort,
DQM,
Classic
Blades.
Kicks, DQM.
Yep.
That whole area was just like buzzing. So I couldn't compete with them. I didn't want to compete with them, right? There was also
David Z.
No, Nam de Guerre.
Nam de Guerre downstairs.
Of course, downstairs, across the street from Atrium. So that whole place was buzzing.
Yeah.
That whole place was hot. What I wanted to do was identify with the sneaker woman, the woman who was into sneakers, but also on a fashion level. Not performance.
Yeah.
Not only sneakerheads.
It was lifestyle.
It was totally lifestyle, fashion.
How did that work ultimately? How many years did you have it? And then ultimately, what do you think? Like now, reflecting back years later.
Yeah, because I do. I reflect once in a while when I see the logo or I see a photo or something. It was really early. There were a lot of factors that were outside of the model, the business model. But I think it was great because I was able to leverage relationships that I built because of the magazine. And I pitched people at Nike that were running women's on this concept. And because of that, I was one of maybe 5 doors in the country that opened the doors with a Nike account.
Got it.
That's
like unheard of.
That's unheard of.
Yeah, of course.
That's everybody is on a year waiting list.
Or more, yeah.
Unless,
and that's if you even get it.
Unless you're Michael Jordan's
of course.
kid or somebody's kid. But
yeah,
that was, in hindsight, I look back like, wow, that happened, right? So that was something that I was like, oh, good, I'll take pride in that.
Yeah.
Also, design of the store. My sister's interior designer.
Okay.
My brother did the design, the graphics for it.
I remember.
Like it was fully sourced within my personal network.
The family affair,
Oh,
family
for
business,
sure,
yeah.
for sure. And I worked that store 7 days a week. I was waking up in the middle of the night when their alarm got tricked, and I learned a lot from having that store.
Wow.
Learned a lot. I learned a lot about the discipline of owning that type of business.
Yeah.
I also, if you think...
What year was that?
That was 2005 to 2008. So 2008 was when the market crashed.
And that's before social media.
Before, way before.
And I believe if you would have opened it up after social media, I think it would have been like a whole nother
level. I think so.
Because how to get the word out? I mean, if the girls knew that there was a store that had limited edition product just for them.
Right.
And
someone's going to see this and do it.
Yeah, yeah.
Which, kudos to them. Like, do it. I already tried. I already had that. The mistakes, I think, where you asked what were the lessons. I should have jumped on developing a brand for the store to survive. To survive when I couldn't wholesale. I was dependent on wholesalers because I almost probably got a little
e-commerce, right?
There was no e-commerce then.
It was just it was just retail.
Yes.
Wholesale and then retail. That's it.
It was
without social media.
Without social media,
Sheesh.
right before .com buzz.
Wow. Yeah.
That was in the plan. Like that was totally. I still have line sheets of designs and where I want to go with T-shirt graphics and hoodie. Like really want to do a women's streetwear brand.
Yeah,
streetwear is on fire, right? Yeah. The wholesale business is tough, but I think I got a little cocky because I got my Nike account early. As soon as I opened the door, I had Puma Alexander McQueen. I had Creative Recreation, the first women's store in New York.
The product was there. Everything.
Etnies women. So I was really trying to like diversify and really pick silhouettes that made sense for the customer. And then I still had the magazine at the time. So I ran the magazine in the basement of the shop.
I remember that.
So my brother, who was running graphics and doing editing and everything, he would just have the key. So I was in that store from opening it up at 10:30, 11.
That was headquarters.
And then leaving at 11 midnight and doing it the next day.
Yeah.
I literally had 2 businesses going.
Wow.
So 2008 happened. All the product I was getting exclusive was now going to Michael K's and Transit and everything on Broadway.
Yeah.
And that crushed me. And not just them crushing me. I should have had a safety net by having my own product,
Yeah.
my own branded product to be able to survive.
Yeah.
The business did really well for the first 2 years. And then, you know, there's outside forces. The recession in 2008 crushed everyone.
Yeah.
And I had to walk away.
So going back a little bit further, when you grew up in Brooklyn.
Yep.
Right?
Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn.
Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn. In high school and before college, did you already at that time have a huge affinity for sneakers? Did you know that like you're gonna be in sneakers and fashion, or when did that come? When did you get that epiphany? You know, and the reason I ask is more for like the younger audiences that are listening and watching, and saying, hey, look, clearly you're a major success now. And when did that come to you? When did you get that light or that vision or that aha moment? Or maybe not, you know, maybe you just kind of went into
I think the aha moment for me was knowing that I did finance for 2 years after college, and I knew that wasn't for me. So I never knew exactly was for me. Okay. I knew what wasn't for me.
Got it.
I was very clear about what I didn't want or didn't like. And footwear, I gravitated to because it was almost natural.
Got it.
Right? It was natural. Like we all knew when I was watching Michigan play in the Final Four and saw Jalen Rose and Chris Webber, I wanted those Webbers. Yeah. Like I wanted those CB4s. Like I was like, those are it. Like
when I saw Huaraches for the first
time. Oh man, you were like, this is amazing.
Ones, it was
but
crazy,
it was a part of culture. Yeah. Like you wanted to play ball in the sneakers you just bought, but didn't want to mess them up, but you still wanted to play ball in them. Yeah. Fashion was always there. You know, I remember searching for Tommy, and I remember going. We lived it. Yeah. We lived that culture.
Was fashion a big part of your life? Was it everything? Was it like sports, or was it fashion was everything, or was it going out, or was it like?
It was fashion, music. Yeah. The city. Remember, I lived in Bed-Stuy. Yeah. I went to school in Queens.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
So I went to Catholic school.
Which one?
I went to St. John's Prep in Astoria.
No way. Okay.
So remember, I went to Catholic school my whole life. Mm-hmm. The only thing that identified you, because everyone had to wear white button downs,
because you had a uniform,
gray pants, a tie. So guess what I did? I used to buy different ties.
Okay.
So I was known for having like character ties and polo ties, right? Yeah. Polo pants. Yep. And then switching from Timbs to sneakers but shoes. Yeah. Because you had to have shoes, but I didn't want to be that. I didn't want to wear those shoes.
Yeah, yeah, got it, yeah.
I didn't want to wear standard.
So could you wear sneakers? No.
Yes. You had to finesse it.
Okay, that was
you had to finesse it.
Got it.
And then you had the dress down day. The dress down day was the day. Yeah. Right? Like dress down the day was like, I'm going this week to downtown Fulton to go cop an outfit, or I'm going to West 8th Street. Yeah. I'm going to we used to call it the Ville.
Yeah, the Ville.
We used to go to the Ville and go shopping.
For everyone that's listening, because people are living around the world, the Ville was an abbreviation for the Village, which is an abbreviation for the West Village, which is another abbreviation for Soho in Manhattan, downtown.
And this Brooklyn kids would go there, me included, we would go there to go shopping, right?
I used to be scared to death of half the Brooklyn kids. Yeah. Half the Brooklyn kids that I didn't know. The other half of the Brooklyn kids that I was with, thank God, they would protect me, because they were fucking crazy. And I was like...
And they used to be...
We would just steal every day, literally, like polo.
I was just about to
that.
mention
Was low lives. Like, like a lot of the kids that I went dancing with in the city, when I was 14, I started clubbing when I was 14. Right. So we were going to Melting Pot, we were going to... this is during like Limelight, Octagon, Red Zone, Mars, Velvet, all the Gungi Rivera parties back then. And we were low heads, so we were low lives. Right. And literally, it was the kids from LES, the kids from Brooklyn, and the kids from the Bronx would all come together. And those were like a lot of the different low life teams, from across the city. Right. The kids in Brooklyn were wild. Right. I remember like what they would do, like to like S&D and like Steam.
I remember S&D, yeah.
Wow, that was crazy. Like the downstairs S&D.
Yep.
It was like literally being on like Fifth Avenue.
As soon as Iceberg hit, woo, that was crazy.
Yeah.
To me, S&D had it all.
S&D was the Rodeo Drive.
Oh yeah.
To me, of like the hood.
For sure.
Like to me to see a $600 beanie, like.
And selling.
And selling.
Or being stolen.
Or being stolen. Yeah.
That was the
mostly
balance.
being stolen, but
Yeah.
yeah, a lot of selling though too, because they wouldn't. That was crazy.
What's funny, you mentioned that, and I was
Yeah.
a little resistant to even bring it up.
Yeah.
But I remember telling my mom about how I was like, "Do you remember me asking for $40 because a friend up the block had a jacket that he wanted to sell?"
Yeah.
And you would be like, "You sure?" And I was like, "Yeah. I just need $40." I also worked since
Yeah.
I was like 15 at a restaurant.
You had to,
so
yeah.
after 15, I was like, "I don't need you."
Yeah.
Right? But guys on my block and
Yeah.
in the neighborhood used to go with the line bags.
Yep.
Go Boost, hit me up like, hey, they go.
You know what the line bags are, right?
Yes,
So
yeah.
but for the audience, the line bags, or they used to call them the Lizzie bags,
Yep.
which are bags that have a certain lining that offsets the alarms. So you could take something, you could steal something from a store that has an alarm on it, and it won't sound the alarm.
Think
So,
about the ingenuity.
there's so much stuff that, like,
think about the genius of that.
I'm thinking to put on the caption of the show is like, Steve, you're not responsible for what Steve or his guests say, of course, right? That we'll have to put no matter what. But there will also be stuff that's only understand in certain subcultures in the 90s in New York City,
Right.
because they're a little bit older than you guys.
Right.
So like kind of like excuse us for our
Yeah.
slang or whatever.
Pardon our
Pardon the verbiage.
yes, exactly.
Yeah.
No,
Like
so
I told my wife the other day, I was like, babe, do you know what they say when they're like, yo, what up, B? Like,
Right.
do you know what that means?
What'd
She's
she say?
like, no. I'm like, I was like, I had to explain it to her, right?
Right.
But like a lot of our friends would be like, yo, B, what up?
Yeah.
And it's like,
Yeah.
but I forget that a lot of people didn't grow up with us in that
Yes.
certain time frame, so they have no idea.
No idea about it.
Or like, like if I give you a pound and I'll be like this, like I'll be like this, and
Yeah. The
people,
hug.
the half hug,
The half
like
hug.
the arm half hug, people are weirded out in California
Yeah.
about that. They're
I
like,
do-
are you
like,
attacking
it's
me?
just
It's
natural
like, it's
for me.
literally, it's like kind of abrasive. Think about it. It's like you're kind of like,
Right. I try to be aware whenever I travel about those gestures because
Yeah.
I've left West Coast guys when
hanging. Always. They're like this.
And I'm like, oh, my bad, and I had to catch up. Right? And I've done that so many times, and I feel bad. And they're like,
10
they're like,
years-
you're a Brooklyn guy.
Yeah,
Like,
I'm 10 years deep. I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, howdy. That was crazy.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
No, but I remember telling my mom about that. And she was like, get out
So
of
what
here.
was the $40 for?
Oh,
To buy something that was
yeah.
somebody took.
So
Okay,
I
got it.
remember they were stealing Low and North Face.
Yeah.
So I had North Face. Everybody's doing the hip bags.
Jansport? Yeah.
Everybody's doing the hip bags,
you
the
gotta
fanny
have those,
packs,
yep.
and the slings now.
Yep.
Dude, I had at least 4 of them. I remember having like
Yeah, the
I was-
colors.
Your colors.
Yeah.
Black. I had black, gray,
Aztec
and I
blue?
think yes, and then I had the water bottle things.
Yeah.
Like, dude, that became my book bag.
Yeah.
My mom's like, "How are you going to school with that?" I was like, "Oh, my books are in my locker." And all I had was the bag. It was all like fashion. You were like
Yeah.
that with the matching North Face bubble.
Yeah, we look like
with
we
the
were going
with the
hiking.
2 colors.
Yeah.
It was either navy black. I had the green black because everyone else had black or
Got
navy
it.
black. And then people started rocking the red black.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, I'm sticking to
But
green.
that gets you into gang stuff, so
Yeah,
you gotta
yeah,
be
you have
careful.
to be careful.
Yeah.
You have to be
It's
very
still
careful.
Brooklyn.
It's still, it was still New York. So,
Yeah.
but that was fun. That was a fun time. But that's where it evolved from. Like, I took what I knew and my passion for it. I took that into
And Brooklyn was so heavy into fashion.
and music.
Like, it was just hip hop culture.
Yep.
It was so BK, and you grew up very close to where like Jay-Z grew up in
Yep.
Marcy Projects. Like, how far was that from?
literally 2 blocks away.
2 blocks away.
Yeah, I still live 2 blocks away from Marcy Projects.
Wow.
It's a different place now.
Yeah.
Totally different place.
Yeah.
But I remember, and we talked about this earlier, I remember
Like, how scary was it growing up?
it was, what's funny
Well,
is
different because you're from there, right? So
I'm from
as
there,
an outsider,
and all my family lived there forever.
yeah.
Like my grandmother and my mom, they grew up there. So it's been 70 years in Bed-Stuy, right?
70?
70 years. So all my
Wow.
cousins and aunts, everybody grew up in the neighborhood. They all live in New York, they live upstate, Connecticut, Jersey, everywhere, right?
Wow.
But everybody's roots are there.
Yeah, that's
my cousin that
amazing.
lives in Kansas City,
Yeah.
his truck has like Bed-Stuy. That's like,
I love that.
it's a part of who we
Yeah.
are, and we're also New Yorkers. We were like the Puerto Rican family in the neighborhood. That's
Oh.
predominantly black. Like all my
Yeah.
friends in the hood everybody was black, right?
You were the Boricuas. that
We were
everyone
the
knew.
Puerto Rican
Got it,
family,
got
right?
it, okay.
But like any one of my friends that came over, they had a meal whenever they ate with my family.
Yeah.
My friends knew my family
Yeah.
as much as anybody. right?
I thought that when, like the first time I went over to your house, I thought that was so cool.
Yeah.
Like I could tell that there was something bigger. It wasn't just your household. It was something way bigger.
Right.
The community meant a lot to you.
Oh, for sure.
Being there, going to the backyard, having the meals, playing the dominoes. Like it was real. Like, you know, something that you would see on TV, you know?
And it was safe for us.
Okay.
Right? Yeah, there might have been bad things happening around.
Yeah.
But it was always safe.
Okay,
so
that's good.
I never say, wow, it was so bad living. No, we were fine.
Got it.
We were fine. Like we were totally fine. We're protected, and things happen. And
of course,
you're on the train, and somebody tries to rob you, or like had a knife pulled out, or a gun. But like it happens. It happens to everybody, right?
Yeah. Doesn't happen to everybody, but
I mean, growing up then and during that time, it happened. But I felt very safe in my house. So
like if you ask my wife, did you go on the train? She's never been on a train.
Oh, really?
First time I took her on a train was in Italy.
Oh,
that was her first train ride ever.
That is awesome.
Like and the reason I say is because we believe, because that's what we were raised in. That's what everyone. No, there's people that don't even know what it is to live in a building.
Right.
Like.
Right.
There's people that don't even understand how to that they went to school indoors. Because most schools are outdoors.
Right.
Like their dream was to go to an indoor school.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like riding the subway, all this stuff, riding the bus. It's not everybody.
Right.
That's what we grew up in, and but the whole world, the whole planet is not like that.
Yeah, you're right.
And we didn't grow up with all these communities.
Right.
Most cities, and now that you've been able to travel the world,
right.
With the companies you work with, you see it's very different. Like we grew up in a special microcosm of New York City in a time frame of the 80s, 90s, early thousands.
Right.
And so that's what make you, it's like, that's your DNA.
Yep. And I, speaking about traveling, like I see that influence that we live through around the world. Like
look at it now.
You look at fashion, look at music, look at sports. Sports is evolving. Remember, basketball was like, you were a kid from Brooklyn crossing over, and I was never that good, but like everyone around the world is looking at that, right? So it's interesting to see that global influence.
And I believe it's interesting. So if you would have to say, Lou, you knew, which I like that a lot, not necessarily you knew what you wanted to do, but you knew what you didn't want to do.
Right.
And then by default, that's where you got into what you do want to do. And then, so after the crash in 2008, et cetera, what was your next move after that? Because I'm always fascinated by people's moves, where they go and et cetera.
Yeah, that was a.
Was that directly into FILA?
No, that was a dark time. Like I was in huge amounts of debts that I didn't know how to even start to attack. And I literally just had this conversation with really good friends of mine. I was like, you guys didn't realize, but I was struggling.
Yeah, I was
started doing some New York City promotions and started doing parties, tried to do anything just to make some money because I had debit people calling me, debt callers, like nonstop. My phone would blow up because it was just calls. Because at the end of the day, I signed my name saying I owe this for 2 investment properties I had, the store, the magazine. So I put myself in it. So it was time to put my boots on and figure this stuff out. Yeah. But it was dark because you can't go to sleep because you're so stressed. Yeah. So that's the ugly side of being an entrepreneur, right? Is you have to own it and be responsible and live with that. And people that you can't pay, you have to see them one day, right? Yeah. And you have to just own it and live it. Yeah. So took that and try to just hustle and get out of that mess, which I eventually did. But I knew, I was like, wait, I know this business now. I know it from the consumer side, I know it from the publication side, and I also know it from the retail side. I was like, I'm missing something because I'm not understanding how they actually make them. Yeah. I could describe it to you, and I sit there as the buyer. I'm like, oh, I need some red suedes, I need some black leathers, I need some whites. Seasonally, I understood that, but I didn't know how to build it. Got it. So was looking for opportunities to build shoes and understand that side of the commercial side of the business. Yeah. So I found the opportunity at New Balance. New Balance, that's right. So it was a short stint. Okay. Really short stint. Luckily, how long? It was like 9 months. Okay. Boston? Boston. Yep. Was working with PF Flyers, which was one of their brands. And then that's when I got to understand product and the process
Okay.
of development, which you've been to China, you understand
Yep.
what the process is. So I learned the timelines, which is very important, how to build shoes, the actual details of everything. And then I took that, and then I saw opportunity at FILA opened up. And honestly, I went to school in Boston in Northeastern, and then I went back to Boston for New Balance.
Yep.
And I was like, something's calling me back. So then I took
To Boston?
to New York.
To New York, okay.
So I was interviewing with FILA, and I was like, why not? Like,
And how did
Nike's
that-
not calling me,
how did-
Adidas.
How did that come about? Like, how did the FILA, because what I want people to learn from your story is you took a chance, so you left New York, you went to work at New Balance, and then even how did you do that? Like, how did you get access to New Balance? How did you get to pay flyers?
I did Indeed.com, right?
Okay,
And I was only searching for months footwear.
okay,
Again, I will go back to like, I knew what I didn't want.
yep,
Because there's a lot of clutter out there.
Yeah.
If you don't know what you're looking for
yep,
or what you're interested in, you could get lost.
got it. So
You
you're
know,
focused.
I was just like, this is what I'm looking for.
Okay,
I need to find where I fit in. Am I a buyer at a sneaker shop? Am I working for a brand?
Yeah.
Am I a mail boy
Yeah.
at Puma? Who knows?
Yeah, who
But
knows?
I am looking for these 20 companies
Yep,
and where there's an opportunity.
got it.
And that's what I did. And that's how
That's really cool, though.
That's how I found
to think
the
about
New Balance.
It, like, Lou, like, that's really fascinating to me because you didn't know. You
Right.
know what I mean? Look at the incredible position that you're in now and what you're doing and your experience now. You just said, I want to work for a sneaker company. I don't know where I'm going to land in a sneaker company, but that's what I want to do. And let me figure it out. So I'm really fascinated by this. And I believe that a lot of people and a lot of the viewers are going to really learn from your experience. So I want you to really take me through that. So you go on Indeed.com, you look at that, you see New Balance, you're like, it's out of state, you don't know what position. If you don't have the background for a specific position, how do you apply for a new position? And then how do you sell yourself to get hired in a position where you don't have past experience?
Right.
Because that's a lot of where people will say, hey, one, I don't know how to get to that company. Which now with the internet, that's not an excuse anymore.
Yep.
You can find job posts and listings, but how am I going to get hired if I don't have experience?
Right.
And so for you, how did you get hired without experience in that specific job position?
No, that's a great question because what I did on top of Indeed.com is I went to each corporate website for those 20 brands.
Okay.
And I was looking at their HR to see every week. I was
Okay.
looking. 'Cause I had no choice.
Yeah.
I was left to what my options are, and I was like, I have to
Figure it out.
figure this out.
Okay.
And then you start learning. You start seeing what are the common threads that they need. What are the skill sets? Organization. Knowing Excel, knowing Word, having proficiency in Office Suite, right? Like you have to, so my resume has to say that. And
Yeah.
if it doesn't say that, I need to learn it.
Got it.
So understanding what I don't know and what they need.
Smart.
Knowing,
Very important.
knowing that I have the self-confidence that I will be able to move up. Because I didn't mind figuring out if there's a mail room position at Puma,
Yeah.
I'll take it,
Yep.
right?
I'm in the door.
Would I like the marketing VP position? Of course.
Yeah.
When I get there, I'm not gonna know what the hell I'm doing, but I'll get there, right?
Yeah.
So I'll take it.
Got it.
That was my, and remember, I was in debt, had my own businesses, was doing pretty well, was really trying to move things forward, and really got stepped back
Yeah.
like 10 steps.
Got it.
So now I had to take all of that and say, okay,
Yeah.
hey, New Balance and Puma, I'm of value to you. I started my own business.
I'm an
I
entrepreneur.
understand it.
Yeah.
I understand it on the media side. I understand it on the buying side. I understand it as a consumer. I am your consumer.
Yeah.
Forget everything else.
Yeah.
I want to apply my knowledge of being your consumer
Yeah.
to your brand, because no one there looks like me,
Got
right?
it. Yeah.
No one there. No one there had this experience or 90s experience.
Yeah.
No one there had that.
Got
They
it.
knew about it,
Yeah.
because the world absorbed that.
Yeah.
But they didn't have anyone speaking in that voice. So now
even before the internet, really, before social media, not before the internet, but before the power of social media, you really couldn't understand or see that perspective. So like right now, there's, we go to Italy a lot. A lot of the people that follow us from Italy can kind of have this hype, wavy kind of aesthetic and style, because they can literally just open up the gram and look and be like, oh, this is kind of how I have to look, and this is what I have to do to have this kind of, be a part of this wave, right? Back then you couldn't. You literally couldn't. Unless you lived and understood and lived that, you couldn't be that.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And I think that's why East Coast, West Coast fashion was so different. Yeah. Because it was East Coast and a West Coast completely different.
Right. And I think
you brought that to Boston. You brought that New York City, Brooklyn.
And also they needed a body to actually do the work.
Got it.
And I was like, I am willing to do the work. Right?
Interesting.
Like.
So what was that position in New Balance?
It was a product developer. Developing product. They already built line sheets, line plans. Here's the shoe for you to plug into our system and get it developed with China.
Meaning you had to do colorways? No, or you're
no,
like,
I'm just like product developer guy. Shoes come in.
Designers, and so PLMs would give you the CAD and the design.
Yep.
And you're literally the developer.
I'm just the developer.
Oh shit, I didn't know that.
Which is great.
That's amazing.
You know, anybody that owns any business, you need to know every part of the business to be successful. And I'm thankful for it.
And that's a hard position.
Oh yeah, that's
because there's so many mistakes. It's literally you are the line before the factory.
Oh, for sure.
Wow.
And before the sales guy gets the samples.
Yep.
Because they need the tools to sell.
The developer,
Right. They need the tools to sell. Because designer and the PLM already work together.
Yep.
Right? And they design this line plan.
Yep.
And the PLM is saying to the designer, oh, this style is great, but I need it in these 3 colors.
Yep.
Boom. After that goes there. The PLM's job is to give it to the developer.
Yep.
Developer says, okay, this is the line plan, these are colors, materials, blah, blah, blah. Punch them into the system.
Got it.
X amount of days, sample comes back from China. Review it.
Yeah.
Have a sample review.
So you're in a technical position. You're in a technical production position. Oh, interesting. I didn't know that.
And this is, me and you had the conversation. Like, we really need to tell kids today that are interested.
Yeah.
That, hey, there aren't just designer jobs.
Yeah.
There are plenty of jobs in footwear. You have to understand these opportunities to be able to apply, and you also have to be humble enough to understand you need to get into the door, right? There is no handout. Me and you didn't have handouts in anything we did, right? No one told me how to be a publisher. Yeah. What I did was to go back to culture and documenting it. I used to go to Japanese bookstores, and I still have them at home. I used to collect Japanese magazines of footwear.
Wow.
Remember Shoe Masters, Warp magazine?
Loved them.
They were documenting the culture before Instagram.
Yeah, Boomin'.
Boomin'. You remember that?
Incredible.
That's when I first saw Bape, and I was like, oh, look at Bape.
Yeah.
I remember having inserts that they were doing giveaways for Bape laces and everything. Yeah. And I thought, that is awesome. Why don't we have that in the States?
Yep.
And that's what really birthed K-Exclusive, the magazine.
That's so cool.
But it was about that documenting of what was going on, because they were coming to the city and taking pictures at parties and seeing what was in shelves, like literally.
And they were documenting our culture in New York.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. So I was like, why can't we do that ourselves, right?
So New Balance, you're a developer. It's 9 months. It's a quick stint, but it got you in the door.
In the door.
It's got New Balance on the resume, which is a huge deal.
Huge.
You learned from the inside how to spec, which is so important to a factory and communicate to a factory and communicate internally in the system. So you do that, and then how does FILA come about? Was it FILA then after that?
Yes.
Okay. How does FILA get on the radar? Because I really want people to learn about like the mindset that you were in, what you were thinking, and I think that's what's great about you explaining it and exactly how you did it. And then how does FILA come about?
The same way. I was like, okay, I'm over here.
Yeah.
This is only a 9-month gig. I took it knowing that it was a 9-month gig.
Oh, you knew that it was
they just
a temp.
It was basically a developer temp. And I was like, to your point, I want to just get in and have that on my resume. leverage that to go somewhere else.
I worked at New Balance.
Hey, I worked at New Balance, guys. Yeah, hey, you guys need a developer, and developers are very.
I have a sneaker magazine. I had a sneaker store, and I worked at New Balance.
Exactly.
I'm experienced.
I could be
I'm ready to be. I'm ready to run the company.
I'm ready. Ready to do whatever you want.
Yeah, of course.
I'm ready to run the mailroom.
Yeah,
right?
I can run that. I'm just gonna run Nike now. Yeah.
But like you're there. Like, how do I get in? I don't know. There's no one telling us.
Yeah.
Literally no one telling us.
Yeah.
I don't have any family members. I don't have any friends. I don't have any mentors saying, "Hey Lou, the next step you should look for is this."
Yeah.
We were figuring out on the fly.
Me and you spoke around that time, and I remember I was probably one of the first ones, like out of that, because we're both Latino, out of that community of guys, where I was probably one of the first ones to really get that big check, the big corporate job. And I remember telling you and saying, I was at a bar with you, and I was like, "Yo, Lou," or a restaurant. I was like, "Yo, Lou, get the check, bro."
Yep.
I think it was right after the Kick exclusive stuff, and you're like, "Steve, I got these opportunities," and I was like, "Yo, Lou, I'm telling you, bro,
Right.
get the check. Like,
Right.
go for the brand, get that experience, because it's gonna change your life." And clearly, I mean, it has, you know.
No, it definitely has. So went to
And to the second point on top of that is that I always tell my friends this. When I got hired at 26, and then later became the global director of DC Shoes at 27, 28, I didn't have anyone to give me management or executive advice on how to be in that position, how to make moves, how to really think of stock options, how to save money, how to invest.
Yep.
I didn't have that really at that age around me in our community.
Right.
So I think that's the second thing. Like for you, same thing. Is like, who do you ask? You know, luckily you had me, and I can guide you for that. But who else?
Yeah.
There literally wasn't. Literally.
Who's been in it and is at the top of the game that I could look up to and say, give me some mentorship. Yeah. There was none. Yeah, which is, you know, it is what it is. I think there's an opportunity now, realizing that we didn't have it, to be able to do it for somebody else.
No, we're doing it now.
Right?
And thank you for this, you know, to have you here, because we're doing it, and there's just going to be millions of people listening, and like you're going to affect so many people's lives.
Hope so.
You will.
Hope so. I mean, and then the FILA position opened up by doing that same grind, looking at footwear companies, seeing where opportunities are. Yeah. Interviewed with FILA. Did a follow-up interview
in New York.
In New York.
Okay.
Met with the president, John Epstein.
Okay. Love John.
Love John.
He's awesome.
Right. He's a legend in the game. Me and him hit it off really well. Came in, started developing shoes. Actually developed the category. Sandals, soccer, a bunch of stuff.
Wow. And his story is amazing too. It's similar to like the Shoe Dog story. What he did with Adidas.
He's a podcast in itself. He's a podcast in itself.
Incredible.
He's a podcast, and I learned that I pride myself on being quiet and learning when people are talking in the room. Yeah. You know, speaking when I know something. Yeah. So a lot of times I just sit and listen to John, right? Yeah. You could just listen to the incredible Adidas stories, FILA stories, and Nietzsche stories. He's a book by itself. Yeah.
So when he came on board, and then you started to interview with him.
Mm-hmm. He was the last interview.
What did you, like, what were you pitching, or what were they looking for?
They were looking for a developer and someone to handle multi-categories on development, not PLM, not design.
So again, developer.
Just developer.
Oh my God.
Yep.
That's so crazy.
And then also somebody to like manage some of the lifestyle stuff. What's great about FILA, and the reason why I have my trajectory, they're very entrepreneur. So they let you own it. They let you be an entrepreneur in it. You see something in the market that FILA needs to be a part of, pitch it, develop it, throw it on the table. What is it?
Oh, that's dope.
Oh, honestly, it's...
Which other companies probably...
No.
Like a Nike, or like, that's not your position?
Every other company... Know your role.
Got it.
You are part of a work line, and you handle X, other person handles Y, the other person handles Z. There is no crossover.
Got it.
Luckily, in the position I have now as the brand director of Heritage as a category. So basically, I pitched to John. I was there a year. And obviously I know sneakerheads and I know the opportunity was there. And I was just like, the original tennis looks pretty bad. Like, it's a bad looking shoe. Like, it's a great shoe, but it's bad. The quality's bad.
Yeah.
Because remember, that business was just self-sufficient, right? It was
Yeah.
just buying more shoes. It was leather, half synthetic. It was bad.
Yeah.
So I went to John. I said, we could relaunch the 96. And he said, what do you mean? I said, here's a list of retailers. Here's the boutiques around the country
Yeah.
that I know I could do it. Right? I know I could do it.
Yeah.
And I need you to commit to me.
Yeah.
No, I need you to commit that the factory can make it at this leather quality.
Yeah.
We're going to charge $95 and $96 for
Yeah.
it. So there was a pricing, a retail, and a product strategy.
Yeah.
And the marketing strategy was the part of the retail strategy.
Yeah.
Right? And that's where business changed. There is no more silos. That you develop it first, you design it, then the PLM gets it, and then it goes to sales, and then it goes to marketing.
Yeah.
What you're doing in the beginning now
Yeah.
of the process
Yeah.
is doing all of that.
Yeah.
You're developing and designing product that's specific for customers
Yeah.
and retailers at specific price points with marketing intentions already there,
Yeah.
which is very different in the game. That actually shortens up the timeline, and you're doing everything front loaded.
Got it.
And with that, we started developing the heritage business.
Incredible.
With that 196 launch. And we have our back office in Maryland.
Yeah.
John was in our call center that day, happened to be there when the 96 launched on the Friday. Because
Okay.
I called up guys at Sneaker News.
Yeah.
I called up Hype Beast, and I was like, we have some images. We're launching this thing exclusive, these doors. I did the whole machine.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? What's the model for everyone now?
Yeah.
I did it by myself, and I was like, John, can you please back this?
Yeah.
What I need you to back it is really just produce it and
Yeah.
give me the okay. And
Yeah.
I'll prove to you that it's great.
Yeah.
I'll prove to you this thing works.
Yeah.
He said the phones were off the hook, and he was floored by how many people are calling on where to buy these shoes, where is it at, blah, blah, blah.
That's so sick.
He was like, Lou, I've never seen
I've
anything like
never
this.
seen that.
And I was like, thank you. Like,
Yeah.
thank you for letting me do this.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to prove to you that this is a viable business,
Yeah.
and this is a new customer. It's no longer the 35, which I don't want to abandon,
Yeah.
but I also think there's a new customer
Yeah.
that's a sneakerhead, that's
Yeah.
a fashion kid that we could be targeting.
Yeah.
From that, evolved.
That's experiencing FILA for the first time.
Yes, rediscover.
Yeah.
Or not even rediscover, discovering the brand.
Yeah.
And what's happened is really targeting that kid to become an ambassador for the brand.
Mm.
Now he's like, I just went to the Stone Island party yesterday.
Yeah.
I saw 3 different people, a girl and 2 guys rocking FILA.
Sick.
You would never say that 5-6 years ago.
Yeah.
In that
Yeah.
that
Stone
circle,
Island. Yeah. Sure.
in that circle
Yeah.
of people, you would never see that.
Yeah.
So what we've done is we try to be nimble, try to understand the market a little faster,
Yeah.
and try to have real strategy to this,
Mm.
right? You have to be protective of the brand and not just blow it up to blow it up, but really have a cadence of product and storytelling. So I'm involved on all levels from A to Z.
Mm.
I'm with retailers, I'm developing the line plan, I am in the showroom with my sales guys,
Yeah.
I'm on the ground with the marketing team, and they're developing catalogs and workbooks and marketing execution, the whole thing.
Wow.
So really putting a set vision, and John has gave me the lane to say, Lou,
Go.
just go.
Just go.
Go. This whole thing will support
Yeah.
what you're looking to do here. And the business has grown exponentially over the last 4 years.
Amazing.
Trajectory continues to go. And I go back to what I said earlier, really focusing on that younger demo,
Yep.
really focusing on social, but then as marketing and conversation, but on the product side, really making sure that we speak to a fashion customer with DNA details, with the
so
DNA of sports.
A big one was the Gosha collab.
Oh, for sure.
That was massive.
Yep.
And then now at Complex Con, you have the whole Hello Kitty,
Right.
like, the massive, like, incredible collab that you're doing there too, and then also the Barney's,
Yeah,
the cafe
Yep.
that you just had. Tell me a little
Yep.
bit about that.
So, we talked about it.
Yep.
So we talked about it like part of the process of collabs.
Yeah.
You don't do collabs for collab's sake. It should, for me, it should knock off 3 things.
Yeah.
One, it should give the brand a new design aesthetic.
Yep.
It should put it in front of a new customer. and it should put it in front of it should be at a new retailer.
Yep.
So if it doesn't check off those 3 boxes, you really have to question, why are we doing this collab?
Totally.
So Gosha put us in Pidiumo
Yeah.
at the trade show of the world, of the fashion world.
And it's an Italian brand, so it just makes sense.
It just totally makes sense.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful. As soon as we spoke to the CDG and the Gosha team, we were like 100%.
Yeah.
And we were the only brand in that Gosha collection that did footwear, apparel, and accessories.
Incredible.
Because again, we pride ourselves figuring out what the opportunities are,
Yeah.
being nimble, and being able to react really quickly.
Yeah.
So we had to convince all the global partners. I had to bring it to John and the COO. Like, trust me, no one knows who Gosha is right now
Yeah.
on the commercial level, but he is the guy.
Yeah.
We have to do this.
Yeah.
Did it, came back 100 times fold.
Sick.
Right? The Barney's thing, relationships, obviously.
Yeah.
Obviously see what we're doing. We did a men's collection
Yeah.
that we dropped that was phenomenal. Really just building higher end quality goods with them, apparel and footwear. Then women's, we did two footwear drops.
Yeah.
And then for the drop, which was their in-store activation, we did a whole women's collection with them.
Amazing.
And exclusive footwear. The footwear was 1 of 50.
Got it.
Like, I don't know anyone else in the market that's doing 1 of 50 and a custom apparel collection for a collab.
And when you say 1 of 50, what does that mean? Like just 50?
1 of 50 pairs,
Wow.
all numbered.
Whoa,
Yeah.
sick.
So
Was that the silver one with the
that was-
chunky bottom?
Exactly.
So
So that's the
sick.
disruptor. So the
Yeah.
disruptor, we see this chunky bottom craze.
I love that.
And what's awesome is that's already part of FILA's DNA.
It is, yeah.
There's
yeah.
no making up this shoe.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So really understanding what's happening in fashion, and looking back into
Coming
the
back.
history
Yeah, and
of
coming
the
back.
brand, but then also how do we move it forward, right? And we're moving it forward by putting it in Barney's and working with the Barney's team to do something fresh and new take on it.
Yeah.
That had the silver reflective hits, had the XO
So was that
detail.
silver, was it all reflective silver?
No,
or
there were
parts?
pieces
Okay.
on it.
Sick.
And then it was all silver, but then reflective pieces.
Yeah, it looks so dope.
Yeah, and
I love it.
we have more stuff we're working on that I think is going to be really awesome.
Oh, amazing.
But again, it checked off those 3 things,
Yeah.
right? Before we even have the conversation. Like, we have so many great projects. And what I've done is since I talked to all of our licensing partners
Yeah.
around the world, really try to tell them, be disciplined about the collabs we do. We don't want to just put our name on things all the time,
Yeah.
and understand what's local, right? That affects local micro communities,
Yeah.
right? Like, we do projects with Mr. Allen's in Detroit, Souls Inc. in Miami, Artifact Public in Charlotte, a collab out here with
Sneaker Inc.
Sneaker Inc., right?
Yeah.
Like, understand there's micro communities and then there's global opportunities.
Yeah.
So we have some really amazing global
Yeah,
projects
when
happening.
John showed me some of the FILA stuff you guys are working on, I was like, wow, sick.
So
I was excited about that.
to tease you about that, there's a void in the market right now for FILA hasn't really told their story or our story about the running space we were in.
Yeah,
People know us for basketball.
that's true.
People know
Tennis,
us for tennis.
of course.
So we're synonymous with that, right?
Yeah.
They don't know our running story. I've been to the museum many times now,
Yeah.
and there's a beautiful selection of runners. So chunky runners are coming back. So about a year ago, I said, we really have to see what we can do next.
Yeah.
I don't want to keep us pigeonholed to basketball and tennis, right? And then fitness, and that's it. So there's a shoe called the Mind Blower coming. So what we did was we built for Q2, we did the Mind Blower to come back in the OG colors.
Yep.
Did an apparel collection with it, made it men's and women's collection, and that's the only thing that drops. It's exclusive to drop
Sick.
for Easter. We're doing 4 pop-up shops around the world: New York, LA, Seoul, and Tokyo.
Okay.
That'll only feature this.
Sick. They're just a mind blower.
Just Mind Blower collection.
Ooh, okay.
Then we did the Mind Breaker, which was an update.
Okay.
Very, very inspired by Balenciaga doing a sock fit,
Ew.
using the bottom, and it keeps the original tooling. Then I want to say, okay, what collab should we do on this?
Yeah.
So I said, why don't we do something really special?
Wow.
I don't know why I decided to do it because it's insane.
Okay.
But it is. So what we're doing, reached out to a lot of partners that always wanted to do a collab with us.
Yeah.
And I said, now's the time. So I said, I want to do 95 pairs, limited edition, because the Mind Blower came out in 1995.
Okay.
So every collab is limited to 95 pairs.
Okay.
50 pairs will live in the 4 pop-up shops to be sold.
And 45.
45 go to the partner, say Sneaker Steve.
Yep.
Right? Sneaker Steve times FILA Mind Blower.
Got it.
You design your own, you get 45 pairs. You could do 3 things. You could sell them, you could seed them, or use them as a contest.
Say that again?
You could sell them,
Okay.
seed them, or use them as a contest.
Okay. The reason I'm asking because you know we're already talking about the FILA.
Exactly.
Just want to get that right.
It's already in the works.
Yeah,
so it's limited 95 production, 95 pairs production. And what I have is that the 3rd week of the pop-up shop, April 15th weekend,
Yep.
we're dropping 50 collabs in 1 weekend.
When?
April 15th.
Wow.
This has been a massive. You said it earlier, like
50 collabs?
Wait, you said earlier,
Yeah.
like Lou, you just like take on these projects and just come up with this and don't like. This is exactly what I do.
Sick.
So
50 collabs.
we have 50 collabs dropping.
Wow.
So I'm working
At
with
one shot?
one day. They're all dropping. No one's ever done this.
Woo!
No one's ever done this.
Oh, I love that.
The fact that the shoe is different,
Oh my God.
it's a different story for the brand.
Yeah.
Really want to go exponentially greater and do something really different and unique.
I love that, man.
So that's just a tease of stuff that's coming for 18 and how I'm thinking and how I'm thinking about the brand and how I'm thinking how we activate with the experience with the brand.
Yep.
So that's just a tease, but there's plenty more. So hopefully we get to do a second podcast
Okay. Well,
where I can show you some more stuff.
we might need to do 50 podcasts with all that. Now
That would be interesting.
Now I have a couple of things that we do in a segment on the show.
Okay.
So one is, if you were a sneaker, who would you be?
If I was a sneaker, who would I be? I would be the Air Max BW.
Okay.
You wanna know why?
Why?
It's one of my favorite shoes.
Okay.
The color blocking is awesome.
Okay.
And it's also one of the most slept on shoes.
Okay. Air Max. So if you were a sneaker, Air Max BW. Okay. Cool. Another segment
And that's
we
the
do.
FILA guy saying that
No, I
the
love
Nike
that.
Air Max BW
Yeah.
is my all-time favorite shoe.
I
and
love
I'm
that.
glad no one else says that but me.
Nobody else said that but you. You know.
Right.
Other segment is top 3 current rotation, because I'm really big about like what's your rotation. You're traveling, you're going around. What's your top 3 right now? What's your rotation?
My
What's your
original,
go-to?
well, I'm sticking off FILA, right?
All right.
Right. I do throw in some other brands,
Yeah.
you know, because I have great friends in the market that, you know, do great, incredible work
Sure.
that I always want to support.
Sure.
And even if I didn't
Yeah.
know them, I'll still support it because it's
But
really
what's
good.
your real top 3? Like
Real top
like
3.
Even with me, with like when I own, of course, a partner in Andrew Dome.
Yep.
I got a Boost.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I got
yeah.
a pair of Boosts that I travel in, and then of course, you know, maybe my other 2 were Andrew Domes.
Right.
But I always want to know, like, really, like, as a designer, as a person, what are your top 3? Like, you're traveling with.
I already know.
All right.
So it's the Original Fitness,
Okay.
right? I switch up today. I just threw on cranberry suede. Tomorrow rock cream
Woo,
ones.
okay.
It's that easy shoe for me, right?
All right.
Also change the fit and the comfort, adding. I do all the marketing stuff. And I do the product line, but I'm also trying to add comfort technologies in it that no one even sees.
Sick.
It's just totally mass. It's just built in the shoe,
Yeah.
and it just added value for the customer. So that's another part of the nuance of.
Got it.
If you got the customer's attention,
Yep.
you have to build on that,
Yep.
right? Second shoe right now that's on rotation heavy
Yep.
is the Barney times FILA.
Which color, the white or the black?
I actually do the cream, which was the friends and
Cream.
family, limited to like
Damn.
36
I'm
pairs.
feeling hurt right now.
That's-
I'm hurt right now.
So
Yo,
what
Chris
they-
Pepe, I'm talking to you, brother. Like, yo, 36 pairs, Sneaker Steve's got to live, man.
So-
Lou, I need
so-
whatever that 36.
Yep.
We gotta squeeze that in. Yeah.
Well, that shoe is different from everything else because what they did was they wanted to put the T1 mid tennis, the tennis mid bottom on the original tennis upper.
Yeah.
All the edges are rolled.
I saw
so
it.
there's-
It's beautiful.
It's
Yeah,
beautiful.
it's
The
beautiful.
leather's great.
The last is different
Yeah.
too. Yeah, it's beautiful.
And the third shoe,
Third shoe?
I started putting it into rotation
Yeah.
is the spaghetti knit. So it's the original Jerry Stackhouse shoe.
Okay.
It's a 2018 drop.
Okay.
I started rocking it
Yeah.
tonight. So it's half leather, half knit on the OG bottom.
Sick.
And that's where I'm taking the brand for 18. Is how do we mix some new elements
Yeah.
with some original DNA
Yeah.
and really move the product and use stuff that we see like Balenciaga is crushing it
Yeah.
with this shoe. But I can't do that right now.
Yeah.
I have to gradually move the customer to that.
Got it. Well, with that spaghetti, Nate, you got me hungry, brother. It's Friday. We got to eat.
Yes.
I love you, man. Thank you. You're
Thank
a
you
true
for having
legend,
me.
Lou, man.
Thank you.
man.
Thank you for having me.